Hello, kiddo. I hope you're doing good. I'm doing very fine. And how's the dosh? High, right? Very high. Okay, great. Amazing. So, with that great energy, let us begin the session. So, look at the question here. How is the hormone balance maintained in the blood of humans? Such an interesting question, right? So, let me ask you a few questions. Have you ever wondered why the glucose levels in the blood are always in a desired range? The oxygen level in the blood, for that matter, the core temperature of the body is always within the range, right? And the pH level of the fluids, all of these are maintained, right? Someone is monitoring all this. What is this called as? What is this kind of monitoring and maintenance called as? Any idea? Yeah, so let me tell you, this is called as homeostasis. It's nothing but a state of balance which is done by all the organ systems communicating with each other, and they ensure that all of the hormones, right, and many other factors are within the desired range, desired limit, right, so that all of the functionalities are good. That is called as homeostasis. All right, fine. The maintenance, the process is called homeostasis. But how can it be achieved? Who's maintaining it, right? So the answer, the ultimate answer for the question is feedback mechanism. What is this mechanism now? What is feedback? So from the word feedback, you can understand that there is some kind of response to the change happening in the body, right? Yeah, through communication between the organ system. That's exactly right. Now, what is this mechanism? Very simple. Let me give you a beautiful definition here. Feedback mechanism is the mechanism of the body to maintain the levels of hormones within desired limit. Absolutely. Right? So you will understand this better when I give you an example. Right? When you understand how the hormone levels are maintained. Right? I'll tell you. Basically, there are two types of feedback mechanism. One we say positive, one negative feedback. So before getting into positive negative feedback, let me show you this slide. So tempting, right? Yeah. Look at those beautiful chocolate cakes. Of course, it tempts everyone. But of course, it's not so healthy. A lot of sugar content, we should avoid it. Very true. But imagine you're having a slice of this cake for your birthday or your friend's birthday. Okay. As soon as you have it, what happens? What do you think is the change which is going to take place? Definitely, there is going to be a spike in the glucose level, right? Very true, very true. Now, is that fine if it is going to be in the same way? Not right, nah? It should come back to the normal range. Now, who's bringing this back to the normal range? Yes, so that is where we are going to learn the feedback mechanism. So, let me introduce a word called variable. What is this? This is what is bringing a change, an imbalance to the body, okay? Now, what is going to happen? In case of negative feedback mechanism, this variable is going to trigger a counteracting response, an opposite response. Okay. In case of what? Negative feedback, I'm saying. This variable is going, this change, this imbalance is going to trigger a counteracting response that will bring the system to the normal state. Yeah. So it's like opposites, right? So we are calling it negative feedback. If you want to understand it clearly, here is a beautiful example. Huh? Negative feedback mechanism. So insulin and glucagon, look at the superheroes there, right? What are they going to do now? So what is this organ there? Leaf-like pancreas, right? So basically, the pancreas have special cells called islets of Langerhans. Okay. So these cells have two types of cells called alpha and beta cells. Okay. The alpha cells produce glucagon and the beta cells will produce insulin. Okay. Now, insulin and glucagon are two different hormones. That's it. Now, why am I talking about this? We were talking about negative feedback, right? Now, what is the variable? Consider a situation you are eating the chocolate cake and the glucose level spikes. So, that imbalance created there, spike in the glucose, is the variable. Now, this spike in the glucose is going to trigger the production of insulin. Right, the increase in the blood sugar stimulates the secretion of insulin by pancreas. Now, this insulin, what is the functionality of insulin? You know, it will convert the insulin, will convert the glucose. into glycogen, thereby reducing the blood sugar level. Okay, so what happens as soon as you eat the chocolate cake, the sugar level is spiking. That will go and trigger the pancreas to secrete a lot of insulin. That insulin will come and lower the blood sugar level. How? By converting the sugar, the glucose into glycogen. Understanding it? Yeah. So you can see the counteracting response there. As soon as there is increase in the glucose, insulin is secreted and it is decreasing the glucose and bringing it to the normal desired level. That is one beautiful example of negative feedback. Now, what about glucagon, the superhero, coming into the play? When? Say, suppose you're fasting, right? Say, suppose you wanted to try intermittent fasting and you're not doing it properly. Or you are fasting for some reasons. So, how is the body getting all its energy from? Right? As soon as there is lowering of the blood sugar level, right? What happens? This change, this imbalance is going to trigger the pancreas to secrete more glucagon. Now, what is the function of glucagon? The opposite of insulin, right? It will break down the glycogen. Basically, the glycogen will be stored in the liver. It will break down the glycogen to glucose, thereby increasing the blood sugar level and bringing it back to the balance. Yeah. So, thus normal sugar level is maintained. Simple. Whenever there is a spike in the blood sugar level, insulin is secreted and it lowers the sugar level. Whenever there is a dip in the sugar level, glucagon is secreted by the pancreas, which will increase the sugar level and bring it to the normal state. Simple. This is a beautiful. So what is happening? The variable, the imbalance is triggering a counteracting response. That's why it's called negative feedback. Beautiful, right? Yes. So if you ask me, ma'am, give an example for positive feedback. One very well-known example is breastfeeding, I can say. So, of course, you all know the mammary glands, right, will produce the milk to nourish the baby. So, while suckling, right, the nipple of the women has a lot of nerve endings. So, when there is this suckling action, it will trigger the production of prolactin from the pituitary gland. Yeah, prolactin is the hormone. More the sucking, more production of prolactin. When more prolactin is produced, more milk is secreted. So you can follow the positive loop there. More sucking, more prolactin, so more milk secreted. More sucking, more prolactin, more milk produced, right? So thus the functionality is achieved, right? So this happens until the output is reached. So as the baby suckles more milk, more prolactin is secreted and more milk is produced. Yeah. So basically what is happening here, the variable is getting intensified here. Yeah. In case of negative, the variable is triggering a counteracting response, opposite. Here, the variable is even more intensified to achieve the output. Yeah, so that is a beautiful example for positive feedback mechanism. All right. I hope you enjoyed. How the hormone levels are maintained in the body of humans. I have a quick question for you, okay? Do you know which is a heterocrine gland in the body? One example, one beautiful example. Yeah. So you might have heard the word endocrine. Endocrine glands, they produce hormones directly into the bloodstream, right? You might also have heard exocrine glands. They produce enzymes through ducts, right? They produce enzyme and secrete it through ducts. But what is this heterocrine? Heterocrine can function as both endo and exocrine glands. How to prove that pancreas is heterocrine in nature? How to prove that? Because just now you saw it produces hormones like insulin and glucagon directly into the bloodstream like endocrine gland. At the same time, it produces certain digestive enzymes like pancreatic amylase, yeah, pancreatic lipase through ducts, through pancreatic duct into the intestine. Yeah. So thereby acting like an exocrine, both endo and exo. That's an interesting fact to wind up with. I hope you enjoyed. Yeah. If you have any doubts, you can ask me. Yeah. Most welcome. If all clear, I'm really happy about it. Okay, tata, bye bye, and take care.